Hey YouTube, Alex here, and in today's video I want to give you some of my first impressions of Cusco here at the Plaza de Armas, which is the center of the old city. And of course you have the historical church there, and yeah, it's just a beautiful day here. So why don't I go ahead and talk about first impressions here. Uh, Peru is really sunny, so if you can't tell, the sun is very bright. We are here at 12,000 feet altitude, so the first thing I want to let you know that will come in handy here is make sure you bring strong sunblock and sunglasses and protective clothing, and do these things so that you're prepared for the sun, because the sun is very bright. I was told it's bright, but this is a whole new level. So yeah, my next impression of Cusco, Peru. The street vending is kind of limited as far as areas that you'll see people selling things. Do be prepared here at Plaza de Armas for the various vendors who are plying their wares. And yeah, that's going to be my next impression of Cusco. So definitely come here with some money to spend on food. The food here is incredible. You want to eat the food in Cusco, whether you are a carnivore, a vegan, a vegetarian, you like chocolate. There's some kind of food here for everybody. So I highly recommend trying different restaurants, walking around. If the menu looks good, trying it out. I actually gave up on trying to find specific restaurants, and now I just kind of wander around until something looks good and I try it, and I've been very pleasantly surprised. Impression of Cusco is that it can get a little bit chilly here, so you do want to bring some warmer clothing to be prepared for that. I'm here in the beginning of May, the start of the dry season, and it could still be a little bit chilly in the mornings and a little bit chilly in the evenings. So these things are some things to be prepared for as far as first impressions. I think a lot of people, when they think of South America, they think it's hot and almost Caribbean-like. But in fact, there's some pretty chilly places, especially here at altitude. Here in Cusco, we're at 12,000 feet. So the next point I want to make here as far as impressions go, I definitely felt the altitude. I came here from Bogota at 8,600 feet. Even so, here we're at 1,200. Even so, we're here at 12,000 feet. And you want to be careful about that. If you do feel ill, a lot of the hotels around here, they do offer coca. Also, there should be Diamox available in various pharmacies around here. And finally, if you do feel really ill, of course, there's medical services that include oxygen. I'm not a medical doctor. Don't take this as medical advice, but do be prepared for the high altitude of Cusco, and the fact that it's at 12,000 feet, and you may be coming here from sea level, which is quite a bit different from here. Next impression I want to let you all know here, be prepared for the people to be fairly introverted and somewhat shy in some ways. This isn't like Colombia, where people are very outgoing and gregarious and passionate. Not that people lack any of those qualities here, but certainly people tend to keep to themselves a bit more here than I noticed in Colombia. So that's something else is, if you do attempt to interact with somebody and maybe they aren't super responsive, it may not be that they don't like you, they're just a quiet, private person. That's a non-issue for me because I'm like that myself. That's something I love. If I had to pick one thing out of everything I love about this country, about Cusco especially, it's that the people are very respectful of personal space and peace and quiet. Aside from Plaza de Armas, in making this video, I've been approached almost 10 times by various salespeople. But this isn't an instance where these folks are wandering throughout the city or anything like that. It's the main tourist square, so it's something to be prepared for and to be aware of. Another first impression, be careful with the dogs. Don't make eye contact with them. There are a variety of street dogs here in Cusco, unfortunately, especially with the economic fallout of the pandemic. Many are going hungry and can be quite aggressive. So if you do see a dog, don't think it's like perhaps your neighborhood at home where you're familiar with the dogs and you can predict their behavior to some level. Here they can get quite aggressive, and there are a number of reported I think 200 reported dog attacks in 2019. So I don't say that to scare you. I don't say that to frighten you, but rather something to be prepared for here is that the dogs can be quite aggressive. Another first impression, don't feel like you should come to Cusco just as a stopover to get to Machu Picchu. I've been here for a week now. I anticipate staying for at least another couple of weeks, and it's really a nice experience. So another first impression here, don't assume that it's just Machu Picchu. When you come here to Cusco, you'll notice there's a lot to explore, a lot to experience. There's the Sacred Valley. There's a variety of different kind of local villages, I guess would be the term, that you can visit. There's various clothing makers. There's a real big variety of things to do here, and so don't just come for Machu Picchu. Spend some time in Cusco. I've been here for a week. I plan on staying for another few weeks at least, and it's a really, really wonderful town. It's a great place for introverted types of people that want to experience South America and the Latin American culture, but perhaps they are a little bit worried about being pushed to socialize more than they're used to. Maybe their Spanish isn't super strong. I found at least here in Cusco there is more English than in Bogota. In fact, my waiter the other evening at the vegan restaurant, he was from Serbia. So we had a conversation. He's like, you could just use English. I don't really understand Spanish very well either. And he was a really good waiter, but that's something to think about if you are coming here, is if you feel like it's going to be a constant lost in translation situation, you feel like you're going to constantly be struggling with a lack of Spanish. I haven't found that to be the case, and the internet has been reliable. Of the internet, that's another first impression. I noticed that the internet here is good. I've had very little downtime and great download and upload speeds. Occasionally it can get choppy, but it's not as bad as from what I've read online, at least from what I've been doing. I'm studying and working online, so perhaps you have different needs, but that's just been my experience. My final point here I want to make, my final impression, it is more economical than Bogota. I was really surprised by that. I estimated it would cost at least 20 to 30% more than Bogota, but in fact it's been cheaper, especially for some of the dishes that I enjoy, like ceviche, for example. Ceviche here is more economical than in Bogota. I can get pretty good ceviche here, even in Cusco in the mountains, for around the equivalent of 7 US, whereas that dish in Bogota would be more like 9 or 10 US. And so that's something to be prepared for, that at least right now with the downturn in tourism, hotels are very economical. I'd say restaurants charge about the same, but I'm saying in what a hotel I really enjoy, the Golden Inca Cusco, for around 15 US per night. And I previously booked a private room in a hostel. I think it was around 12 US per night. So at these prices, this is pretty reasonable. This is pretty economical, and I like it because I feel like I could spend a little bit more on the really good food here. So if you're somebody that's worried about really expensive accommodation, I can't speak on Lima yet, but as far as Cusco right now, Cusco in mid-2021, I found the accommodation to be economical, the food to be incredible value, the people to be introverted, respectful, really beautiful people, and I can't say enough positive things about here. I did mention a few downsides, but I don't think those should deter you from coming here to Cusco and to Peru. But there are certainly things that you should be aware of to have the optimal experience. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. This has been my first impressions of Cusco. My name is Alex Conley. Definitely subscribe to the channel, Alex Living Abroad, if you enjoy content like this. Comment down below and let me know what you think about Cusco. Maybe you came when it was a lot busier, and maybe that busyness led to a different kind of experience. Finally, give us a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.